Hey guys, STEVEO here from Movies and TVs on the Vault, and welcome to Mr. Movie is in a Full House. Oh no! This episode is also part of pilot season. Come fly with me, where I look at the pilot episode of a TV series and talk about it. This episode is called Full. This was the show from Full House, lasted from I think 1987 to 95, so it's been off the air for almost 30 years, which is kind of interesting. Um, the pilot episode pretty much takes where everything kind of sets everything up. You got Danny Tanner played by the Bob Saget, who this was a really kind of this role for him was his first real role where he was kind of a nice guy. Apparently, a lot of people didn't realize that Bob Saget had a really crude comedy tour in the vein of somebody like Chris Rock a little bit, but a little bit more edgy. And this had also Dave Coulier, who was played Uncle Joey, who was Danny's best friend. You know Dave Coulier from such films. From I think he was. I know he was in a song by. He was mentioned in a song by Alanis Morissette. And he was also did Dave's Funniest People, which was like kind of a because Bob Saget did um, America's Funniest Home Videos. Dave Coulier did um, Full House. He was also the voice of Dr. Peter Venkman in The Real Ghostbusters. He showed back up for Fuller House. He's done voice work for Robot Chicken for Popeye, and he's done also. He was in the television series canceled too soon, with less than one season or less. Television series um, grandfathered with John Stamos. Speaking of John Stamos, you had John Stamos in this, who is best known for Uncle Joey, but he also did voice work for Phineas and Ferb. He worked on um, episodes of ER, and he has done episodes of Friends. Before Full House, he was in an episode of Step by Step and Tales from the Crypt, excuse me. And then you had DJ Tanner, played by um, Candace Cameron Bure, and she has been in Hallmark movies recently, but you probably know her as DJ Tanner, and she shows her up as DJ Tanner Fuller in the Fuller House television series. But she was in that movie called Some Kind of Wonderful, and she's been doing a lot of Hallmark movies, including If Only I Had Christmas, um, The Christmas Contest, and she was in a couple other Hallmark mysteries. She's done a lot of Hallmark movies. She's also the sister of Kirk Cameron, who was in Growing Pains at the same time. Um, then you had, of course, Jodie Sweden, and then she shows up again, or Candace Cameron plays DJ. DJ shows up again in the sequel series for Netflix called Fuller House. Um, then you had Jodie Sweden, who was in, who played Stephanie Tanner. You know her. Her other works includes Walt Before Mickey, Just Swipe. She was in the Jane Mysteries. She's done a lot of Hallmark movies since Full House. Um, she was in episodes of Party of Five. She's been in episodes of of Mother Goose Stories, Brotherly Love, which had Joey Lawrence and Andy Lawrence, and um, what's his name? Andrew Lawrence as well, in which I think was about him being. It was a show. It was a show that was basically kind of that, and then but let's get into the show. The show pretty much sets everything up from the way the plot works. Danny Tanner just in the pilot. He is a sportscaster for the San Francisco News, and I think later on in the series he becomes sort of the Matt Lauer Today Show of San Francisco early in the career. But in the pilot, he's sportscaster. His mother leaves, and the first line is, "Oh, the baby's sleeping like a baby," and he invites Joey, who is his best friend, and who has the very colorful outfit, and he's helping him sort of get Danny into the routine. Then kind of Danny into helping Danny kind of juggle the kids. There's the pilot works pretty well. Then you had Uncle Jesse, and this is when what's his name? Uncle Jesse. This is when John Stamos had that really long mane hair. He has a black leather jacket. He has a helmet, and when he comes in, he looks like kind of a greaser kind of guy, and greaser guy. Then you had and then Uncle Joey shows up, and we see Joey's the one who's the character who does all the voices and does all the and wow. And the pilot works pretty good. It sets up kind of what we know of how the characters are. Then you had this. You had and then you had sort of their plot with um, DJ kind of. We do get here a mention of Kimmy, and we do see like the Uncle Jesse and Uncle Joey help Michelle. I think it's a pretty good pilot. It really sets up everything. Then you kind of you had um, you have the pilot works pretty well. I think it sets you. I think you also get a lot of what more of what DJ's dealing with is having to her biggest, because I mean it's a lot of these plots are pretty simple. DJ's dealing with what's DJ dealing with? DJ's dealing with having to share her room with Stephanie, which I think is really the big thing about the plot. Because in the series, Stephanie and DJ have to share a room throughout. I think most of the series, but that's kind of her big kabuffle. Then you had Jesse kind of has to choose between. He's trying to get ready for a date with this attractive biker girl, and Danny needs him to kind of watch Michelle and the kid and the other girls. So, and he's dealing with a lot of that stress, and he's trying to also, he doesn't really want anyone to, or he doesn't want his date to kind of know that he is dating, or his date not knowing that he is helping out his brother-in-law to with these kids, and I think he's a little bit of ashamed of it. And it works out good for the pilot. It sets everything up. I think it's not, the comedy's there. It's a laugh track comedy. But I think both Joey and Danny and Bob Saget, um, Bob Saget, Dave Coulier, and John Stamos, I do see that there's that triple chemistry between the two, and I think it works great with Candace Cameron, DJ, and Stephanie in this pilot. There's a scene where Stephanie is in her room because DJ and Stephanie are sharing a room, and Stephanie's holding on to the curtain, and Danny says, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just hanging around." So there's a lot of laugh track moments, but that's just sitcom fodder. Um, I think it's a good episode. I think I can kind of, because this is a pilot, I can kind of see where I think with a lot of these pilots that have lasted, or with a lot of these shows that have pilots that have lasted for years, I feel like this one has done a really good job of making, or pilots that last for years. I can see um, the nuts and bolts of what's going of this show that has lasted for TGIF for years. So I give it probably, for a pilot episode, I give it maybe a 10. Yeah, I mean a 10. Maybe about an 8. I kind of like what we saw, and I think now that um, Bob Saget's passed away, I think watching this has a lot more of a heart to remember him by. But that's my look at Steve's in a Full House. Oh no! That's everything. I'll probably get to episode 2 down the road. I'm just kind of wanting to kind of hit the pilots first before I go into covering a whole series. If I had more time, I would. But that's me. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Full House pilot episode. Did you like it? Did you hate it? As always, like and subscribe. I'm Steve, and everywhere you look, everywhere there's a heart of people to hold on to. And see you at the movies. Bye.